Akandamandalakaram Vyatam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanati Mirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumeditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yakinchit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Bhavaji Vyapi Yat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sarvashuti Shiroratna Virajita Padambujaha Vedantambuja Suryoya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Shashvata Shanto Vyomadito Niranjanaha Bindunada Kalatita Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jnana Shakti Samaruda Tattvamala Vibhushitaha Mukti Mukti Pradata Cha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Aneka Jama Samprapta Karma Bandha Vidayine Atma Jnana Pradhanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shoshanam Bhava Sindosha Jnapanam Sarasam Tapaha Guru Padodakam Samyak Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Na Guru Radhikam Tadvam Na Guru Radhikam Tapaha Tattva Jnana Param Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Manata Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Mamadma Sarva Bhutadma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Radhiranadisha Guru Paramadevataram Guru Parataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Daya Sangar Daya Karo Kripa Sindhu Kripa Karo Daya Sangar Daya Karo Kripa Sindhu Kripa Karo Daya Sangar Daya Karo Sindhu Kripa Karo Daya Sagar Daya Karo Kripa Sindhu Kripa Karo Daya Karo Daya Karo Daya Karo Daya Karo Kripa Karo Karo, Kripa Karo, Daya Sagar Daya Karo, Kripa Sindhu Kripa Karo. Sagar Daya Karo Kripa Sindhu karo. Daya Sagara Daya karo. Kripa Sindhu Kripa karo. Daya karo. Daya karo. Daya karo. Kripa karo, kripa karo, kripa karo, daya karo, daya karo, daya karo, daya karo, kripa karo, kripa karo, kripa karo, kripa karo. Sindhu kripa karo. Daya Sagara daya karo. Kripa Sindhu kripa karo. Daya Sagara daya karo. Kripa Sindhu kripa karo. Daya Sagara daya karo. शरण आए हैं हम तुम्हारे दया करो कृपा करो. शरण आए हैं हम तुम्हारे दया करो कृपा करो. शरण आए हैं हम तुम्हारे दया करो. शरण आए हैं हम तुम्हारे दया करो कृपा करो. दया सागर दया करो. कृपा सिंधु 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 कृपा करो. दया 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 करो. कृपा 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 करो. शरण आए हैं हम तुम्हारे दया करो कृपा करो. शरण आए हैं हम तुम्हारे दया करो कृपा करो. शरण आए हैं हम तुम्हारे दया करो कृपा करो. शरण आए हम तुम्हारे दया करो कृपा करो. दया सागर दया करो. कृपा सिंधु कृपा करो. दया सागर दया करो. कृपा सिंधु कृपा करो. दया सागर दया करो. Sindhu Kripa Karo.
Daya Sagar Daya Karo, Kripa Sindhu Kripa Karo.
Daya Karo, Daya Karo.
Daya Karo, Daya Karo.
Daya Karo, Daya Karo.
Daya Karo, Daya Karo.
Kripa Karo, Kripa Karo.
Kripa Karo, Kripa Karo.
Kripa Karo, Kripa Karo.
Kripa Karo, Kripa Karo.
Daya Sagar Daya Karo. Kripa Sindhu Kripa Karo.
Daya Sagar Daya Karo, Kripa Sindhu Kripa Karo.
Daya Sagar Daya Karo. Kripa Sindhu Kripa Karo.
Daya Sagar Daya Karo, Kripa Sindhu Kripa Karo.
शरणाए हम तुम्हारे दया करो कृपा करो. शरणाए हम तुम्हारे दया करो कृपा करो. ओम हरदर्शिषाय नमः. ओम विषमाय नमः. ओम देवकर्य समुद्यजाय नमः. ओम सूक्ष्मतनले नमः. ओम चिन्मयाय नमः. ओम गुरुमूर्तये नमः. ओम सुंदराय नमः. ओम सुलोचनाय नमः. ओम सुमुखाय नमः. ओम चरुहस्ताय नमः. ओम केशवाय नमः. ओम पद्मभुजाय नमः. ओम मन्दगमनाय नमः. ओम शरुबलधरिणे नमः. ओम रमाय नमः. ओम अनिलस्तपकाय नमः. ओम श्रीभवचकाय नमः. ओम गायत्र्यज्वने नमः. ओम अर्पणस्वीकारकाय नमः. ओम विष्णुपूजकाय नमः. ओम नमो नारायणायति मंत्रपसकाय नमः. ओम स्वर्णमयाय नमः. ओम मधुरगन्धाय नमः. ओम कृष्णसङ्कीर्तनरूपाय नमः. ओम स्तोत्रप्रियाय नमः. ओम मितभाषिणे नमः. ओम वाग्मिने नमः. ओम चित्रकलाविशरदाय नमः. ओम भक्तधराय नमः. ओम सदवे नमः. ओम जगत्पन्थाय नमः. ओम सर्वलोकहिताय नमः. ओम भक्तप्रियाय नमः. ओम सुहृदाय नमः. ओम अनुकूलाय नमः. ओम नेयाय नमः. ओम सुदर्शनाय नमः. ओम भक्तवत्सलाय नमः. ओम प्रेममूर्तये नमः. ओम शुभेक्षणाय नमः. ओम प्रीतिवर्धनाय नमः. ओम स्वस्तिदायकाय नमः. ओम करकाय नमः. ओम अनुग्रहाय नमः. ओम वर्धनाय नमः. ओम अर्चिताय नमः. ओम अर्थाय नमः. ओम सिद्धिप्रदाय नमः. ओम जनार्दनाय नमः. ओम मनोहराय नमः. ओम महर्षाय नमः. ओम सिद्धेश्वराय नमः. ओम भस्मभूषिताय नमः. ओम अन्नमलिंगाय नमः. ओम निरक्षणप्रोत्साहकाय नमः. ओम श्रीसदनाय नमः. ओम माधवाय नमः. ओम ओंकारोपासकाय नमः. ओम सूक्ष्माय नमः. ओम विशुकाय नमः. ओम सात्विकाय नमः. ओम समदर्शिने नमः. ओम दक्षाय नमः. ओम अचित्याय नमः. ओम निरंकाराय नमः. ओम निर्मोहाय नमः. ओम अव्यग्राय नमः. ओम चित्तक्रोधाय नमः. ओम विनयशीलाय नमः. ओम सर्वस्याय नमः. ओम कुशलाय नमः. ओम क्षमाय नमः. ओम सत्यधर्माय नमः. ओम निर्विकल्पाय नमः. ओम विरक्ताय नमः. ओम अतीन्द्राय नमः. ओम सत्यसन्धाय नमः. ओम पवित्राय नमः. ओम मधुरस्वभावाय नमः. ओम सुरनन्दाय नमः. ओम नन्दनाय नमः. ओम प्रसन्नात्मने नमः. ओम भक्तनिधये नमः. ओम साक्षाये नमः. ओम समात्मये नमः. ओम सदायोगिने नमः. ओम हरये नमः. ओम सुतपाय नमः. ओम सौम्याय नमः. ओम गुह्याय नमः. Om Vimuktatvaya Namaha, Om Gambhiraya Namaha, Om Guptaya Namaha, Om Atmaramaya Namaha, Om Srinivasaya Namaha, Om Devaya Namaha, Om Yudhidharaya Namaha, Om Dhanyaya Namaha, Om Gurave Namaha, Om Dharatikramaya Namaha, Om Gahanaya Namaha, Om Bhagavate Namaha, Om Arishana Margalakshakaya Namaha, Om Kutashtakaya Namaha, Om Aviprayaya Namaha, Om Salamata Samadhyaya Namaha, Om Shamakatavavakaya Namaha, Om Premavatara Sri Vishwananda Swami Namaha. Ato Deva Avantuno Yato Vishnu Vichakrame Pradivya Sapta Dhamabhi Idam Vishnu Vichakrame Tredani Date Padam Samo Dhamasya Pagam Sure Trini Pada Vichakrame Vishnu Gopadabhyaha Ato Dharmani Haraya Vishnu Karmani Pashyato Vritani Paspashe Indrasya Yujasaka Tad Vishnu Paramam Paragam Sada Prashanti Suryaha Divi Vachakshuratatam Tad Vipraso Vipanyavo Jagravagam Sasamindhate Vishnu Yat Paramam Padam. Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Thanno Vishwananda Prachodayate. Om Premavatharaya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Thanno Vishwananda Prachodayate. Om Premavatharaya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimahi Thanno Vishwananda Prachodayate. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvikam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Shri Krishna Vishnu Madhusudana Kaitavare Narayana Achyuta Trivikrama Chakrapane Daityadi Sarjadhara Shridhara Vasudeva Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Rukminisha Bhavanasha Hare Murari Radesha Gopasha Surupa Brahmadi Vandya Shri Dvarakashtaya Vaikuntha Pate Bhuvanaika Murte Gopala Deva Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Meenakrite Kamatarupa Varaha Murte Traivikramaya Guhane Rama Rama Shri Rama Krishna Yadunandana Kalpi Rupa Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Govinda Madhava Mukunda Paraparesha Damodara Jadarananda Kadhari Shori Gopa Gopi Jana Samvrita Dina Bandhu Gopi Jana Priyaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Adishaya Bhujagadi Patalpashaye Sarvakta Hisadhanashaye Ramangashaye Shri Gopa Bhamanutalpa Sukhadishaye Gopa Vallabhaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Kashyapatri Sukranarada Gautamadi Brahma Shri Sangamani Sangama Bharatesho Krishtanti Devatava Darshana Bhagya Heto Gopala Shekharaye Tava Suprabhatam Mandhari Jadi Tulasi Dalamani Kadyahe Malyani Anjali Pute Samudaharanti Ishtanti Tvadravatadara Tale Muninda Radha Manoharaye Tava Suprabhatam Vedatrayam Patati Gautama Gana Guryaha Gayanti Sanguna Ganau Varadasa Vargaha Sankirtayanti Tava Nama Kadha Visheshaha Shri Naradari Rishaya Tava Suprabhatam Govardhanodharana Gopa Kishora Gopa Gopi Janamrita Suvesha Bhavati Pota Trilokya Mohana Sumangala Divya Deva Shri Rukminisha Varada Tava Suprabhatam Shri Vatsachina Sharanagata Parijata Bhakti Marga Kripakala Dina Bandhu Nityanta Gayati Jana Priya Divya Rupa Shri Nanda Gopatanaya Tava Suprabhatam Padmaksha Padma Mukha Padma Dhara Prameya Padmalaya Skarita Padma Nivasa Shori Padmodbhavati Surasevita Pada Padma Padmadinata Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Vrinata Devi Haranaya Mahendra Vandya Gandharpa Haratinya Sudesha Rupa Chandrananaya Sida Chandana Nikadeha Govinda Yadavaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Nanda Nandana Yashoda Kumara Dhira Mayanga Dhina Davichona Supushpahara Nilam Buddha Sharira Rama Vihara Gopala Deva Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Vaishri Jambhavati Satya Sugandhi Bhadram Shri Mitra Vinda Divasa Prabhu Pujya Kadyahe Ishtanti Divya Bhavame Tava Sevanardam Gopi Mana Priyaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Krishna Achyuta Ananta Mukunda Shori Radha Manohara Janardana Chakrapane Namani Nidya Munayurna Nisham Vadanti Brahmi Muhurta Samaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Krishna Suprabhatam Ye Patanti Ahardisham Bhuri Kritam Mahapapam Shri Krishna Rahe Dukkha Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Salvakarana Karanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Chintamani Prakara Satma Sukalpa Veksha Lakshavteju Sudhavira Vipalayanta Lakshmi Sahasra Shakta Sambrama Sevyamana Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Venum vanantamaravinda dalaya dacham Parhavatam samati sambuddha sundarangam Gandharva gotika maniya vishesha shobham Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami
Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Alola chandra kala savana marya vamshi Radhangadam pranaya keli kala vilasam Shamam tribhangalalitam niyata prakasham Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Ankashijasya sakalindriya vettimanti Pashanti bhakti kalayanti chiram jaganti Ananda chinmaya sadrujjvala vigrahasya Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami
Advaitamachutamanaadimanandarupa Adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha Vedeshu dulabhamadulabhamatma bhakto Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Antastu koti shatavatsara sampraganyo Vayoratapi manaso mudipungavana Sopyasti yatra padasina vichityatare Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami
Ekopya sarvajaitum jagadanda koti Yashaktirasti jagadanda chayaya dantaha Adantarasta paramanu chayantarastam Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Yadbhavavavita diyo manujastaceva Samprapya rupa mahimasanayana busha Shukteya eva nigama pratitaistu vanchi Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami.
Ananda chinmaya rasa pratidhavitavis Tabeya eva nisharupataya kalavi Goloka eva nivasatya kilatma bhuto Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Prema janachurita bhakti vilochanena Sampasa deva idayesha vinogayanti Yam shama sundarama chintya gunasvarupa Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Ramadimurti shukadari amena tishta Nanavatara makaro bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat paramapumanyo Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Jasya prabha prabhavajo jagaranda koti Kotishna shesha vasudhari vibhuti vidam Tadbrahmanishkalamanantam shesha bhutam Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. Maya hiyasya jagadanda shatari sute Traigunyatam vishaya vera vitayamana Sattva Vishuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Ananda Chinmayana Satmanaya Manasu Yapraninam Pratipalam Smaratam Upetya Nilayandena Bhuvanani Jayatrajasam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Golokanami Janami Tale Chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridhama Suteshu Teshu Tete Prabhavani Jaya Vihitasya Yena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Shishti Sthiti Pralaya Sarana Shakti Rega Jayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vivarti Durga Nijana Rupana Piyasya Jajeshya Tesha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Yakaranavala Jale Bhajati Smayoga Nidram Ananta Jagadanda Saroma Kupa Adhara Shakti Mahalam Yaparam Svamurti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Chirega Hida Shantarama Bhupetya Nipayate Vivitaretu Samana Dharma Yastadvideva Hija Vishnutaya Vibhati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yakaranavala Jale Bhajati Smayoga Nidram Ananta Jagadanda Saropa Kupa Adhara Shakti Mahalam Yaparam Svamurti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasyeka Nishvasakala Matavalamya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jaganandanata Vishnu Mahansa Yasya Kala Vishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Asvanya Jasma Shakaleshu Nijeshu Tejaha Shriyam Hiyat Prakatayakya Pitatva Tatra Brahmaya Esha Jagananda Nidhana Karta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yatpada Palava Yugam Vinigaya Kumbha Vande Palama Samaye Saganadi Raja Vingam Piyunkumalasya Jagatrayasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Agni Ganamam Kumaroti Shasya Kalasta Dharma Manasi Jagatrayani Yasmat Bhavanti Vigavanti Vishanti Yamcha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yachakshuresa Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samastra Suramurti Rashesha Teja Yasyanaya Brahmadi Sambrata Kala Chalo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Dharmota Papa Nichaya Shutayastapamsi Brahmadikita Patagala Bhayascha Jivaha Dattamakra Vibhava Prakata Prabhava Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Svindra Dhopa Madhavindra Mahasvakarma Bandhana Rupa Kalabhajana Matagoti Karmani Nirgati Kutuncha Bhakti Raja Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yam Krodha Kama Sahaja Pranayadi Piti Vatsalya Moha Guru Gaurava Sevya Bhave Sanchitya Dasya Sadashim Tanuma Purete Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karana Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Om Agnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmei Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Gurudev, good morning. So, today's Bhagavatam verse is from Canto 12. This is the last canto of the Bhagavatam. And in the beginning of this canto, Sukadeva Goswami starts summarizing and elaborating on all of the things that he's been telling King Parikshit up until this point. So at the end of chapter 2, he says, this is all just to give you some context. We'll get to the verses that I picked in a moment, but this is just a bit of context. He says, my dear King Parikshit, all these kings I have described, as well as all other human beings, come to this earth and stake their claim. But ultimately, they all must give up this world and meet their destruction. Even though a person's body may now have the designation king, in the end, its name will be worms, stool, or ashes. Although the foolish accept the body made of earth, water, and fire as me, and this earth as mine, in every case, they have ultimately abandoned both their body and earth and passed away into oblivion. All these kings who tried to enjoy the earth by their own strength were reduced by the force of time to nothing more than historical accounts. So, again, we'll get to the verses in a second, but something happened last 2 nights ago now, yesterday, let's say. Maybe you've heard about it. I would be surprised if you hadn't. Can you all guess what I'm talking about? There was an assassination attempt on a former president of the United States of America. And that's probably one of the most insane things that I've experienced, like newsworthy things in my lifetime. Okay, COVID also was crazy. I was very young when 2001 happened, when 9/11 happened. But yeah, it's not every day that there's an assassination attempt on a president or former president of the United States. And so this has been taking up a lot of airwaves, a lot of time and people's minds and big news all over the world. And it's really just completely crazy, you know. I almost still cannot wrap my head around it. And seemingly how close he was, like few centimeters, basically, seeming like still even very fresh, the story. We don't fully have all the details, but seemingly he was a few centimeters away from the other side, this oblivion that's talked about here. But one thing in my life that has become kind of a mantra for me, even before I met Guruji, is perspective is everything, right? And it really is the case. I think many of you know, or I've told it so many times, but if you don't know, my dad died when I was 18 years old, very suddenly. So I woke up one morning and no longer had a father, or a living one at least. It was very shocking. And at the time I was in high school, I was in 12th grade, and my perspective on life, what was important to me at the time as an 18-year-old, from one moment to the next, completely changed, right? So perspective is everything. And so I picked these. So what I just read is from chapter 2, Canto 12. This is Canto 12, chapter 3, the beginning of chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. It says, Shuka uvacha drishtavan mi jaye vrigran nirpan hashtibur liam aho ma vijashanti minutyo krananakatapa kama esha narendram moga shad vidusham api yena panopam pindeyeti vishrambiti nirpa. The translation is, Sukadeva Goswami said, seeing the kings of this earth busy trying to conquer her, the earth herself laughed. She said, just see how these kings who are actually playthings in the hands of death are desiring to conquer me. Great rulers of men, even those who are learned, meet frustration and failure because of material lust. Driven by lust, these kings place great hope and faith in the dead lump of flesh called the body, even though the material frame is as fleeting as bubbles of foam on water. And so, before this news happened even, I was just talking a couple days ago with one of my friends, and we were talking about how crazy everything seems in the world. Seems recently, it just seems to be getting more and more crazy. There's also, of course, my friend is from America. He's from America. I'm from Canada, so my almost all of my family, like my dad married an American, my mom married an American, my sister married an American. I'm very much connected to America. We're neighbors of America. There's a presidential election coming. It's all crazy. Everything's crazy. He's American. We're talking about how crazy everything is. I said, yeah, wow, it's really crazy right now. And I said to him then even, I think it might be that we're just a bit biased because we're alive right now. I think it's always been crazy. I think, the 1940s were pretty crazy. I think human history has been crazy, and there's been a lot of stuff happening for all of human history. And we get caught up in our limited perspective. And things seem the most crazy, right? They always seem the most crazy. But when we take a step back, right, and we try and give ourselves that perspective, right, a greater perspective, that's why I chose these verses. Because it's very easy for us to get caught up, right, in our world, in our lives, in the perception of the time that we live in. But Guruji's teachings are really for us to transcend that perspective, right? And adopt the perspective that is much, much deeper and more profound about who we are and why we're here. Because as much as everything seems crazy, and all of these things are happening, we cannot lose sight of that perspective that Guruji is trying to teach us all, right? These verses are intense, and they're some of my favorite verses, actually. When I left last night, I said, Guruji, you have to give satsang tomorrow morning. He said, how are you prepared? I said, not really. Like, I never am. But, I'm thinking about some things. And after I left, I think he even sent me like something else related to Trump. And I sent him these verses. And he said, exactly. Right? Because these verses, they're really so amazing and beautiful. Because it's Bhudevi herself, right? It's Mother Earth herself who is giving her perspective. Human beings have such a limited, such a short perspective. We come, we live for not even 100 years, maybe 100 years if we're very lucky. And Bhudevi, like it says in these verses, she's seen all of these kings, all of these rulers, all of these leaders. She's bore witness to them over the course of time, over the course of human history. She's been there. She watches, she observes. And she laughs. Right? This is what these verses are saying. The earth herself laughed. As she's watching all of this drama unfold, all of this history, this chaos, she sees how these kings who are actually playthings in the hands of death, desiring to conquer me. These kings, these rulers, these presidents who have completely lost their perspective, desiring to conquer me. You may conquer me for some time. You may think that you've conquered me. You may have some land, you may have this, you may have that, but you're a plaything in the hands of death. You forget. You're here for such a short time. What immense rulers, leaders have come, have walked on this earth, have accomplished so much. And again, like the second part of this verse, they place great hope and faith in the flesh called the body, even though it's as fleeting as bubbles of foam on water. I don't know if you've ever tried to see how long bubbles of foam on water last, but they don't. And so she watches all of this drama. And she has this perspective, this beautiful perspective that she's telling us that we can take something from. But even beyond the perspective of Bhudevi herself, there's an even greater perspective, which is the perspective that you are not this body. You are not this person in reality that you think you are, that you've convinced yourself that you are. And Guruji's constantly reminding us that we are so much more than that. But we are constantly losing our perspective of that. Some months ago, Guruji was on the phone with one Prabhu. Been going through a very hard time, and I've known this Prabhu for a few years, and I've seen how much time and energy Guruji has invested into this individual. And I realize also that human beings invest, we invest in all kinds of different things. I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to go to school and invest in my knowledge. I'm going to invest in learning an instrument. I'm going to invest in the stock market. We invest in all kinds of different things. Guruji invests in human beings because he actually has the perspective of who we are and what we're capable of, right? It's not a coincidence that any of us are here. It's not a coincidence that we've met our Guru. That doesn't just happen, not by any means. So he knows why each one of us is here. He knows what each one of us is capable of. He knows what a human being in essence is. And so he invests in that, in trying to draw out that essence, that reality of the Atma. And so, okay, but from my limited perspective, there's this guy, Guruji seems to have invested his time, right? He's invested a lot into this individual. To me, I couldn't pick him out from a crowd. I don't know why. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any logical sense. Why him and not A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Why this guy? But you know, in the last 5 years, you've said 2 words to this person. And, you've said 1 sentence to this person. But this person you've given a lot of time and you've invested a lot. And I said to Guruji, after he got off the phone with this guy, I said, it's amazing how much time you've invested into this guy. And Guruji immediately smiled and laughed and was like, said one of the most beautiful things he's ever said to me. And he said, you all don't realize who you are, who you all are. He said, the only reason that I'm here, and the only thing that I care about, is that longing that you have in your soul. That's the only thing that I care about. I don't care about anything else. No matter what anybody perceives of me, of my goal to draw out what I know is inside of you, whatever that means, whatever that takes, however it's perceived of, whether you think this guy is not worth my time or is or whatever, I don't care about that at all. The only thing that I'm responding to is that which you have in your soul. That essence of your soul, that longing that you have in your soul. And I realized shortly after that, thinking about this conversation and just being so grateful that that is the case, that we have this guru in our lives that is willing to do anything and knows, sees, has that perspective, that ultimate perspective. I realize that that is the case, is that he has that perspective. That while we're all living in this tiny little bubble of our existence that we mistakenly think is so big and so important, not only our lives, but the time that we live in. This is the most craziest time that has ever existed in all of human history. It's so crazy. Wow, it's really nuts. And I'm so important, right? This persona that I've created is so important. And we get completely distracted by this actually tiny, tiny perspective. And I just realized, really, because it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to think about it, kind of experience it on a deeper level, that Guruji doesn't exist on that perspective at all. Where he exists, where he lives, where he perceives is so far beyond that. I had one conversation, I've told this story many times, which doesn't translate well. Because if you just hear the words, it doesn't sound very impressive. So you just have to take my word for it. But I remember many years ago, I asked Guruji, what does time mean for you? What is time to you? And he looked at me and smiled a little bit. And he said, for me, time is nothing. And how he said it, and in that moment, I got chills. Because it was so true. It was so real. I just knew that he was telling the truth. And that is so inconceivably beyond my capabilities of comprehending the idea that for him, time is nothing. All of time. Right? Even like it says in these verses that I read before. All these kings reduced by the force of time to nothing more than historical accounts. And for Guruji, that time is nothing. And so, it's just a reminder to myself and all of us that as crazy as things appear to be in our lives or the world or whatever it might be, we should try not get distracted by that limited perspective that we have. Because it can be very, very easy. But we have to constantly remind ourselves, constantly go into Guruji's teachings where he's repeatedly telling us the reality of the situation, which is that this is not the first time we've been here. This is not our first incarnation. And this is not the first time that we've had a relationship with God and with Guruji. And in the grand scheme of things, this life is as fleeting as bubbles of foam on water. So, again, perspective is everything. Let's just try and keep the ultimate perspective that Guruji is teaching us in our minds and our hearts as much as possible. Jai Gurudev.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Praladadadayine.
Praladadadayine.
Vakshaha
Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha
Shila Tankana Kalaye
Shilatankana Kalaye
Shila Tankana Kalaye
Shilatankana Kalaye
Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimho
Ito Narasimho Parato Narasimho
Ito Narasimho Parato Narasimho
Ito Narasimho Parato Narasimho
Yato Yato Yamitato Narasimho
Yato Yato Yamitato Narasimho
Yato Yato Yamitato Narasimho
Yato Yato Yamitato Narasimho
Pahi Narasimho Hridaye Narasimho
Pahi Narasimho Hridaye Narasimho
Pahi Narasimho Hridaye Narasimho
Pahi Narasimho Hridaye Narasimho
Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapadye
Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapadye
Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapadye
Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapadye
Tavakara Kamalavare Nakamakuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare
Avakara Kamala Mare Nakamakuta Shringa Kalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Jai Narsinga Dev Narsinga Dev Narsinga Dev Jai Narsinga Dev
Jaya Narsinga Dev Narsinga Dev Narsinga Dev Jaya Narsinga Dev
Jai Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Bhakta Swarupa Jai Prahlad Maharaj
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Bhakta Swarupa Jaya Prahlad Maharaj
Oh Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Sri Vishwananda Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda Gurudev
Sri Vishwananda Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda Gurudev
Oh Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Shri Vishwananda, Hari Bol.
Oh Gurudev, Gurudev, Shri Vishwananda, Gurudev.
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 Gurudev, 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 Shri Vishwananda, Gurudev.
Shri Vishwananda, Gurudev, 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 Shri Vishwananda, Gurudev.
Shri Vishwananda, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Shri Vishwananda, Hari Bol.
Shri Vishwananda, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Shri Vishwananda, Hari Bol.
Oh Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Vrinda Devi.
Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Vrinda Devi.
Oh Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Yatindraya Karunakaraya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Yatindraya Karunakaraya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Prapartika Maikarataya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Yapakidamikarataya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Saligrama Pratishtitaya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Saligama Pratishtitaya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Tridandatari Godagachaya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Tridandadari Golakataya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Range Saken Karyarataya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Rangesa Karyataya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Mananataya, Darine Daraya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Mananataya, Darinidharaya, Mangala Mangala Me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala Me.
Om Jai Jagadisha Hare, Swami Jai Jagadisha Hare. Bhakta Janon ke Sankata, Dasa Janon ke Sankata, Sharan Dura Kare. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jo jave pala pave, dukkha vinase manaka. Swami dukkha vinase manaka. Sukha sampati garave, sukha sampati garave. Kashta mite tanaka. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Mata pita tumamere, Sharanaga hume kisaki. Swami Sharanaga hume kisaki. Tuma vina ora na duja, tuma vina ora na duja. Asa karume kisaki. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tuma Purana Paramatma, Tuma Antarayami, Swami Tuma Antarayami, Parabrahma Parameshwara, Parabrahma Parameshwara, Tuma Savake Swami. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Tuma Karuna Ke Sada, Tuma Palana Karata, Swami Tuma Palana Karata. Sevaka Tuma Swami, Sevaka Tuma Swami, Kripa Karo Baraka. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Tuma Oreda Agochara Sabake Pranapati, Swami Sabake Pranapati. Kisa Vidhi Dilundaya Maya, Kisa Vidhi Dilundaya Tuma Gome Kumati. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Dina Bandhu Dukha Harta, Tuma Rakshaka Mere, Swami Tuma Rakshaka Mere. Karuna Hata Badao, Karuna Hata Badao, Sharana Pada Tere. Om Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Vishaya Vikara Mitao, Papa Haro Deva, Swami Papa Haro Deva. Shraddha Bhakti Badhao, Shraddha Prema Badhao, Santana Ki Seva. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Dana Mana Dana Sabha Hai Tera, Swami Sabha Kuch Hai Tera. Swami Sabha Kuch Hai Tera. Tera Tujhko Arpan, Tera Tujhko Arpan. Lage Mera. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Swami Jai Jagadisha Hare. Bhakta Janon ke Sankata, Das Janon ke Sankata, Jana Vidura Kare. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Man Chakra Rakoji, Gidari Lala Chakra Koji, Gidari Lala Chakra Koji, Gidari Lala Chakra Koji. Man Chakra Koji, Gidari Lala Chakra Koji, Gidari Lala Chakra Koji, Gidari Lala Chakra Koji. Oh Chakra Ko, Chakra Ko, Chakra Koji. Chakra Ko, Chakra Ko, Chakra Koji. Mane Chakra Koji, Gidari Lala Chakra Koji. Shama Mane Chakra Koji, Gidari Lala Chakra Koji. Govinda Mane Chakra Koji, Gidari Lala Chakra Koji. Gidari Lala Chakra Koji, Gidari Lala Chakra Koji. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Govinda. Asatoma sadgamaya. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Prem se bolo Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan ki Jai. Prem se bolo Sri Bhutabhrteshwarnath Mandir ki Jai. Prem se bolo Shri Krishna Kalyana ki Jai. Prem se bolo Mahavatara Kriya Baba ji ki Jai. Prem se bolo Shri Bhutabhrteshwarnath ki Jai. Prem se bolo Satgurudeva Sri Swami Vishwananda Mahaprabhu ki Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Paraya Paramapurushaya Parakarma Mantra Yantra Tantra Oshadasha Shastrani Samraya Samraya Vicho Mochaya Mochaya Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Diti Jvala Pritaya Savane Shubraham Bhat Parashmahe Paramamane Paramjyotishe Swaha Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Sham Venkatamana Govinda Govinda Gopika Jivnasmanam Govinda Govinda Bhaktavatsala Govinda Govinda Pundarika Varade Hari Vitra Ekanath Namdev Tukaranath Maharaj ki Jai. Rukmini Maharani ki Jai. Samasta Bhakta Mandali ki Jai. Alvar Purmana Thiruvalikale Sharana